Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it might be whilst you're watching this. Welcome to our very first assembly, socially distanced. I hope you're all okay and coping in the current climate. The purpose of this assembly today is to give an overview on a number of different questions I've been asked over recent months about where we stand as a year group with relation to exams, learning and other queries that relate to the situation we're currently living through. I hope you find this useful. First of all, the most important thing is that you are managing to cope with the situation. You will all be having different experiences, and I know through the questionnaire that you've completed, many of you are loving it while some of you are finding it much more difficult. Whatever your circumstances, please remember to try and set examples to your siblings, your friends, and remember your family members may also be finding the current climate really stressful, so please be supportive to them as well. There have been a number of questions you have been asking me over the last few months, and here on this slide are the most common. Within this assembly I'll do my best to try and answer these to the best of my knowledge, but please bear in mind I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm unable to see into the future. So please take everything I say with a pinch of salt, because it could change. As the situation is continuously changing, so is the government guidance, and therefore before September this could all change again. So I'll try and explain a few scenarios and what we think is the most likely situation based on the current guidance and scientific evidence. So these are the three main expected possibilities. 1. The virus goes away, or at least cases are very small, and we can open up in September as normal with a full timetable. I think this is the most likely situation at the moment, as the government are recognising how important it is that everyone gets back to school as normal. Alternatively, we may see some needs for social distancing still, which will mean that class sizes will have to stay below 15, meaning that we'd have a reduced timetable in order to accommodate everybody safely. The worst case scenario is that we have a second wave at some point and we have to close the school again and go into full lockdown. A lot of you have asked about future grades and whether you'll be at a disadvantage compared to other year groups. It is true that we've never had an unexpected period of time away from school for so long, and as a result learning will inevitably be impacted. What I would say is that grades are based on national results, and therefore if exams are harder or the cohort doesn't do as well one year, then grade boundaries are adjusted accordingly. That basically means that this is a legal requirement that roughly the same proportion of students get 9s, 8s, 7s, etc. as the previous year did, and so on and so forth. This is the fairest way to ensure that should exams vary slightly in difficulty from one year to the next, or in our case, a pandemic hits, some year groups aren't disadvantaged over other year groups that have gone previously before them or after them. As I mentioned previously, we are hopeful we will start back normally in September. Now, as work has been set at home, if this has been done, then you should all be on track to finish in May next year as normal. I don't think removing content is likely, as schools don't always complete the content in the same order, so removing certain topics from certain courses wouldn't benefit all schools equally, so this seems unlikely due to the messiness that it could cause. The expectation is normal exams will occur next summer. Remembering grade boundaries could be altered if national results are lower than usual. There is discussion about these being pushed back to later on, i.e. into June, to give us a little bit more time to squeeze in some more content, but as the delay being mooted is only a month or so, this should still give examiners time to mark them all and get results out in the usual way. As a result, college applications should take place as normal, and entries too. I'm aware that some of you haven't been able to keep fully up to date with homeschooling. That might be through laziness or other barriers out of your control. We do have time next year to get up to speed, and this needs to be achieved by next May, ready for the exams. What I would say is the more you do now, the less extra you'll have to do when we do return. There are many plans being made to ensure you are fully supported in the areas you require, as each of you will have different needs to one another in different subject areas. As you can see from this slide, these are just a few ideas we've come up with to help support knowledge gap areas, and it's important to remember that you don't need to be fully up to speed by September, but rather by the time we sit our exams. In the meantime, I can't emphasise the importance that if you are emotionally, physically and mentally well enough to press ahead with homeschooling, then stay on top of it as best you can. And if you have got behind, then contact your members of staff for guidance. They won't be cross that you've made contact. We want to support you through this. Over the summer holidays, there's a huge amount of time to use for any subjects you may have neglected or fallen behind in. Use that time to complete the tasks if needed with guidance from your teaching staff, and we'll support you further when we return. My closing points really are that your health is the most important thing, so please prioritise this over everything and talk to us, either myself or your tutor or child protection, about any issues you have. Use this time as best you can, and of course you knew I wouldn't get through an assembly without reminding you to make it matter. Take care everybody, and hopefully see you all soon.